Hi, my name is Heather Young. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew from the Keith Andrew Network. Super interview, super fun guy, definitely talented, so make sure you check out his show.
Welcome to episode 556. I'm here. It's a talented and beautiful Heather Young. I just want to say thank you for accepting my request and being a guest on my talk show.
Yeah, of course.
Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. Is to prove to them you still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. As you can see, I'm all dressed up, and I guess you forgot.
I did. I forgot my ears. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. You look great with them on, without them.
Thanks.
So, it's a Halloween theme. So for the rest of this week, will be a Halloween theme on the KeithAndrewNetWork, so you get to dress up, wear outfits, and I think this scarf is a little too much. So you have a Halloween shirt, you have my pendant, my pride and joy of just showing off the KeithAndrewNetWork, and it's just a Halloween theme. With that being said, it's a normal conversation. You can say anything you want, talk about whatever you want, freedom of speech, self-expression. And starting off, I saw that you were, sorry, when I don't do my interviews, I built up a disability. Hint, that's what the show is about, overcoming controversy and showing disabilities. But the first question I was going to ask you is I saw you went to the University of California. What did you major in, and did you do any sports while you were there?
So I went to the University of Chico State, so it is a Cal State university. I actually didn't play any sports there. I mainly went because a lot of my friends were there, and I studied actually communications and design there, and actually got into reporting and news and broadcasting and that kind of stuff.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Who influenced you to get into that type of area?
I don't think there was a huge influence. I've always been into media and like movies and television and how they're made and what goes into it and acting and that kind of stuff. So I took the traditional route of trying to be very logical about my artistic decisions and creative decisions and become a news reporter instead of pursuing like entertainment industry of like acting and producing and writing and all that stuff. So I tried reporting and I didn't like it. And then I even went to entertainment reporting and I still didn't like it. So I finally gave in and just decided that even though it was very, it wasn't very, what's the word I'm looking for? Secure.
Yeah. I was going to say beneficial.
Very secure. It was what I wanted to do. So that's just kind of how I ended up here.
Do you think things worked out, or do you think things are still in the works for you?
I think both. I am very proud to say that I mean, if God forbid I die tomorrow or something like that, I wouldn't have any regrets of the things that I've done and are currently working on right now. I totally am good with the decisions I've made to follow what I really wanted to do in life. It's worked out so far. Things are still working out, so we'll see.
No, I feel the same way. God forbid I die. I would like people to remember, look at it like this, because this is how I see it. A lot of people think it's stupid, but you didn't approach me to be a guest on my show. I approached you. So all those people who I approached, even if we had some kind of falling out, I would like to be remembered as saying, he was nice enough to have me on his show, number one. He was nice enough to extend his hand in friendship, number two. And he was doing something to make a difference in his own life and in the lives of others. And the Keith
Mm-hmm.
Network, that's what my pendant is. It's showing off my plugging my work over here. It's
Mm-hmm.
just showing you I want to do this until the day I die.
Oh,
I'm
good.
that's what I'm very passionate about. All my interviews, some are great, some sucked, but that's mostly my fault because you depends on the chemistry with people. But it depends. But the point is, I want to be remembered saying, and one thing I remember about Keith was he was nice enough to give me an opportunity. Because I like giving people opportunities. Because it makes me feel better about myself, and how I want to be remembered.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously, you're super passionate about what you do too. And if that's what makes you happy, that's all that matters.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question I was going to ask you, well, on the college years, were you a study nerd or party animal? And did you ever do any sports?
So no sports, not while I was in college. I was way too busy. So I am again both. I worked really, really hard, but I also partied very, very hard too. So I there was times where I was, carrying 22 units, working a part-time job, and had an internship and was doing a play or a show at the time. So I had a lot going on, and I was constantly moving. And so I didn't get a chance to go out as much as I wanted to, but when I did, I totally made up for all the time I didn't go out.
What about, a lot of people make fun of me for this, but did you ever get the chance to do one of those, human pyramids, or you're not into the whole human pyramid stuff?
No, I didn't. Not in college. No, I don't think I did.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
Would you ever be interested in doing one, or is not your forte?
Not my forte.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Hey.
Now, uh, for my show, it's mostly about disability, so each question I'm going to ask you, I'm going to end with the disability part. So,
Okay.
when you went to college, did you ever get to interact with anyone who was, besides me, apparently you're doing my show, but have you ever had like a roommate or a friend, besides me, that had a disability? And has that impacted your life?
Um, I not in undergrad. I went to graduate school too. So I did have a friend named Alex, and he had a physical disability, and so he was constantly in a wheelchair. And he always had an aide next to him, but he was pretty talented and a very sweet person and a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's all that matters. It's labels, like I said, labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's prove them to amount to something. Some people say for me, I put a good mask on, but I learned over the years how to hide it.
Yeah.
The next question I saw that you were a producer. What were some of your favorite films that you ever produced, and would you ever be interested in doing one about disabilities?
So I'm still producing. I produced news for a long time, for a while. So that's kind of where the producing stuff comes from. And so I live in San Francisco and I still work in the industry, not so much in broadcast or entertainment news, but more freelancing for video production. So there's a lot of productions that go on here that need producing as well. So I do a lot of that stuff. Film wise, TV wise, I just co-produced one film that I wrote, which was a great little story. It's a short. We're in post production right now. It's called Half of Me. It's definitely relevant to today's culture and society. As far as producing anything with a character or people that are that have disabilities, sure, why not? I mean, as a producer, you kind of, or at least for me, I kind of just have to fall in love with the story a little bit more and then make judgments off of that. But I never make judgments off of, whether there's person with disabilities or not off of it.
Well, I'm going to throw a hypothetical at you. Say you read my story in the paper. Would you think I would be good enough to be someone of a caliber of being written about, or do you think I still have to accomplish a little more?
I'm always the type of person that, I mean, if you're happy with what you're doing and where you've been and what you want to achieve, then it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, right? If you think that you should have a story written about you, I always tell people pick up a pen and paper and do it yourself. This industry is very cutthroat, and it's not necessarily nice to people who are different.
Right.
But yet it thrives off of people who are different. So it's kind of an oxymoron in that way. The best thing that you could do is just do it yourself,
No,
or
I
at least
agree.
get the ball rolling.
Now, my other question is, what were some of your favorite scripts that you ever written?
I would have to say, film-wise, it's probably this last one that I did, just because it hit a little bit closer to home. And then news-wise, it was really fun to be able to do This Is the End with Seth Rogen and write that one, and interview them as well.
Oh, while on the subject, are you still in touch with Seth Rogen, number one? And what was it like working with Seth Rogen?
So as a news reporter, you're like in there for 5 or 10 minutes, you say your piece, and then you get on your way. So I am not in touch with Seth Rogen, but I'm definitely, from what I can remember, he was really sweet, nice guy. I think what I asked them, like, how far are they off in real life, and compared to like the characters that they play. They say that they're pretty far off. That the characters they play tend to be very extreme measures of who they are personally. So if that's any sort of insight right there, they're really nice guys.
No, absolutely. And for a perfect example, well, if anyone's a fan of Suits, don't mind me, I'm trying to look at my own reflection like I'm part of this. Just trying to stay focused on you. Like anyone who's a fan of Suits, one of my favorite actors who does Harvey Specter, they did behind the scenes. He has like a full beard and his whole hair is all messed up. He absolutely looks nothing like the character he plays.
It's very common. It's very, very common.
It's true. And, look at Robert Downey Jr. He did big like meet and greets. He was hiding, wearing dark sunglasses. His hair is all messed up, and yet he still sounds like Tony Stark. But it's kind of like you're not going to be that character 24/7. You got to live your own life too. Even though it would be pretty cool to have a real life superhero on an everyday basis.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it would be really cool too. But again, like actors and all that, they're real people behind the actual character. So even though everybody only sees them as that character, there's definitely some reality behind it. So you're gonna find people that don't want to be dressed up all the time, or see them in their real life.
No, I understand. My other question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been acting?
So I've acted on and off my entire life. I think I've walked away from acting like 4 times, and every single time, like, something has brought me back to it. So I kind of started listening to like the universe and all that jazz, trying to tell me to stop walking away from it. And then I think, let's see here, I don't know. I don't think anybody really like influenced me. I just lost ya. Okay. I don't think anybody really influenced me. It was more or less like, I mean, growing up in the States, there's not really a whole lot of Asian representation in Hollywood or in media or, entertainment industry in general. So that has always bothered me. Growing up, I never saw anybody on TV that really looked like me or that had my personality, and I'm sure you can relate, right? And so I kind of just made it my mission for as long as I can remember to start getting more representation, whether it was through writing the stories itself, acting, or producing them, that I would try and be a part of the movement to gain more Asian representation within the entertainment industry.
Well, first off, you are beautiful, and I think
Thank
you
you.
have. And I know I'm a bad flirt, but I think you have a lot of potential to be like a lead or supporting actress. So I wish you the best of luck in that.
Oh, well, thank you.
I know I have a fat neck, but some people say I am good looking. But I was gonna ask you, if you don't mind talking about stereotypes, having kind of was the label or the stigma on my show, have you overcame stereotypes in a whole? There's this is trying to find a word for it. A male-dominated world or a white-dominated world. Because you accomplished a lot from being a producer, writer, actor, and doing these great things. What was your stigma and overcoming those controversies?
I think it was just the fact that, I mean, I still deal with stereotypes. I mean, you're in the entertainment industry, you're going to always kind of deal with those stereotypes, especially if, you're not the person writing the story or you don't get to necessarily call the shots. The stereotypes will always be there. I think it'll be one of those things where it's going to be try not to reinforce them, or people that are consciously writing these stories or consciously directing and producing them make the effort to say no. It doesn't have to be that way, or it doesn't have to be, that person doesn't have to be shown in that stereotypical light. It's a lot of just being super conscious. Have I ran into it? Yeah, of course. Most Asian roles, like, you're either a kung fu person or you like own a shop or a store or a restaurant, or like you're freaking work at a brothel or something. So there's not necessarily a whole lot to choose from. It's getting better, which is nice. And there's definitely more opportunities coming. But again, it all starts with the story. And so if you write the story or you're the person that, comes up with it, you have more potential, more opportunities to really start making those changes.
Now, I have a question for you, and I'll take offense to this. For season 1, I interviewed my friend. I'm trying to get him back on the show, but he's like has to go for the age and all that stuff because he's now a big star, so he has to do all that. But
he's a big star. Which friend is this?
Well, I can tell you afterwards.
Okay.
But he's saying, because we asked about breaking through boundaries of everything, he said there's 2 types of Asians. There's the pretty boy and there's the sex kitten. Now, what is the difference between the two, or what is that? Like pretty boys would be like Tom Cruise, Chris Pratt, but what is the sex kitten? I never heard of that.
And that's a term normally applied to Asian women, and they normally play the damsel in distress, or that is like super innocent but very sexy at the same time. Or like they live in a brothel or something like that, and they just definitely use their sexuality to enhance whatever goal that the writers have set for them in that story.
To be honest, is that really a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing if there's other portrayals of Asian women. If that's the only thing that you see, then yes, it's a bad thing. Because that's not real. I mean, right. Yes, there's action movies and that kind of stuff, and you're always going to have characters like that. But there's also movies and TVs that reflect life. and everyday life. And you're not going to have your sex kittens in everyday life. That's just not going to happen. So again, it's not bad if it's not the only thing that people tie to Asian women.
No, I agree with you. And a perfect example, when I tell people I have a disability, and they're saying they're taken back, be like, huh, you don't look like you're retarded, or you don't look like you have a disability. I'm like, thanks, I put on a good mask. But it's kind of like, some disabilities are physical than mental. Unfortunately, mine are mental. Now, I'm a great person, by the way, but there's certain things you can do, but I can't. Like drive a car, because I don't feel comfortable about it. Or read a script. Someone say, okay, have her go read a script. You're like, all right. And for me, it's kind of like, okay, we have to go over it about 3 or 4 times until it sinks in. Yeah. So that's my stigma, because like, oh, well, you have a disability, but when we tell you, to jump, you don't do it, you kind of go like, huh, I wonder why he wants me to jump. So it's kind of like one of those things.
Definitely. No, I mean, like I said, that a lot, it doesn't come from people being rude or malicious. It's just ignorance.
Pretty much.
And a lot of times, it's a lot of people haven't been exposed to it. So I don't necessarily blame them in that sense too. So that's just who they are and what it is. I mean, you can tell if it comes from maliciousness or if it just comes from plain ignorance.
No, I agree. Last night I was talking to my friend. He gave me a ride home about saying, people with special needs and blah, blah, blah. And he said, he's like, oh, people like that should be abortion, so get an abortion, or they're freeloading off the economy, getting disability money. Long story. But I'm like, yeah, I get disability money, but I still want to be useful. I still want to do things. But I said to him, the way you're speaking, it's coming from, not saying you, I'm saying talk to the person. It's saying, you don't have you have a daughter, but your daughter doesn't have a disability. But if you actually had a daughter that had a disability, or a son, you wouldn't be saying half the shit that you're saying right now. Saying, oh, get an abortion, or do this, or they should be terminated, blah, 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 blah. They're freeloading. But there's 2 sides of a quarter. So there's one side saying, okay, I see things black and white, but then you cut it in half, saying there's an other part of you that you really don't know how you're going to react to the situation until you're in it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course, and I think that's human nature. There's definitely there's something to be said about living in another person's shoes or trying to relate, and if you cannot relate, try to understand. There's a lot of times where I think all of us are guilty of that, not really taking in consideration what other people have gone through. So yeah, I mean, I can totally see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, it's the last 9 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Okay.
Vanessa Lina, Asian Lalo. Hi, this is Cynthia Bastinet. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie. This is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Coke Brown.
Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody, I'm Brooke Francie.
Hi, I'm Brinford.
Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan.
I'm Courtney Sinella.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Danielle Marcia.
Hi, everyone, I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Petrell.
My name is Turi.
My name is Julia Brankovich.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amato.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia.
I'm Rachel Rivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Winder.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Showtana.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the special Halloween edition of the Keith Andrew Network. Why is it a Halloween edition? That's a good question. Long story short, I want to get new fans, new followers, everybody interested. Instead of doing the same repetition over and over, like saying, okay, today on the show, we're gonna talk about this. Okay, that's boring. No one wants to see that. If they want to see that, you can put on Fox or CNN. I want to be spontaneous. I want to be fun. I'm a wrestling fan. Hint the trophies. I like Halloween. Hint the shirt. I'm trying to be real. I'm not bullshitting with people. This is not a scam or a front. I'm not guilt tripping you. Alright? I want to do this until the day I die. And I'm going to make that perfectly clear to the audience is this is where my heart and passion is. Just like you, doing what you do on an everyday basis. That's what you want to do. But this is not about me. This is about you. I should write a book about myself, but we'll see how that goes. But the last question I want to ask you, then pass the show over to you, is social media. Can social media make you or break you? And with everything you accomplish in your life, does it dictate if you should get an acting role, if people should write an article about you, if you should, you mentioned you worked for freelance, and does that dictate if people should read your work? Well, how do you feel about social media? Passing the show over to you.
Wow, that's a really big question. I have a love-hate with social media. I believe it's great business-wise. I am a co-founder of a women's empowerment site. And, we just reached like 10,000 followers on Instagram and all that stuff. So it's great. In that form, it's great. But if you were to look at my social media, like my private social media, it's not as, as awesome, I guess. I don't have large amounts of followers, and most of my stuff is set to private just because I don't feel like I need to put myself out there all day, every day. I don't feel the need to constantly get likes and see if people are liking what I'm doing or anything like that. To me, half the time, it's like I forget about it because I'm too busy doing something else. I'll post a picture every now and then if I get together with friends, or, if something huge happened career-wise, or if I'm out having a good time. But it's not something that I don't jump on, social media and post something every single day. I may scroll through it if I'm bored, like sitting in traffic and like my Uber driver or Lyft driver is just like chilling and there's not a conversation going. But yeah, it's a love-hate. I understand it. I get the good that comes out of it. I do believe that you need to take everything on social media with a grain of salt. You cannot really live or die by it. It has the power to do a lot of good, but at the same time, it has the power to really destroy people as well. So to be super conscious of what you're putting out there, I think is a really big deal.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I give you a perfect example of that. There's this new Batwoman movie coming out. Oh, we don't like her. Someone says she was transsexual or she was gay or whatever bullshit trait it was. And she took off her account. And but as soon as the outfit came out, oh, we love you. The outfit's so cool. It's so badass. We can't wait to see you in it. It's kind of like, wait, you were just giving her a hard time for being gay, but now just because you show something you like, it's, oh, that makes up for it. Okay, that, like saying, oh, Keith, you have a disability. We're very supportive. Yeah, but your show sucks, Bo. Well, keep up the good work. It's kind of, you can't have, it's not McDonald's. It's not have it your way. You can't have it both ways. And that's the problem with people. They think they say something on social media that, oh, you suck. And yet when they see you in person, they're, oh, it's very nice to meet you. I think you're doing a terrific job. I hate phony people. And that's the problem with social media. You get a lot of phony people.
You do. A lot of people feel safe behind their comments of their keyboards, and unfortunately, I mean, that's life. You're gonna run into a lot of people like that, and that's unfortunate. I really wish everybody would feel comfortable enough with themselves to be okay with just being themselves and not have to live up to what they think that they should be. Unfortunately, that's just not possible. I think it would be interesting if it was possible, though. But yeah, anyways, different discussion right there. Oh, you have a cat.
Yep, I have 5 cats and 1 dog. Which one's Miss Patsy? She's trying to knock my stuff over so she can have her bed back. Hi, Patsy.
Oh. Cute. So, since it's my turn to ask you questions, when did you become such an animal lover?
Well, it's not just me. You know, I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister. So every time, let's see, to give you a long story short, my eldest brother found a stray cat at the animal shelter. His name was Kisses. At the time, it was my sister's bar mitzvah. And, you know, she got a cat, and long story short, cat fell into the wall. Because the cat was walking around, and she went into the bathroom, and she went underneath the sink and dropped into the wall. My brother's like, you don't deserve the cat. It's like, yes, I do. Really? Did you hear that meowing in the wall? So he went out and wanted his own cat. Then my mom's like, oh, fine, you can have a kitten. Wasn't a kitten, it's like a 2-3-year-old cat. But he was a sweetheart. We named him Kisses. And the other one was named She-Rock. Let's see, well, my eldest brother, we kind of bang heads, but it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. He went to college, and he found an animal. His name was Wheela. And he came back. Then my other brother knew a friend who had kittens. He came back. His name was Rudy. So every time someone leaves, my parents
come back with an animal, huh?
Pretty much. Or my parents would replace them with an animal.
Oh, well, I mean, that's cute. I know my sister, I have an older sister and a younger brother, but my older sister has 4 dogs and like 5 kids, so it's a busy household.
Imagine what Thanksgiving's like.
Yes, it's very big. It's a big family event. I live in the city, so it's not as convenient to have animals, but plus 2, I'm never quite home enough to really be able to take care of an animal the way that they should be taken care of. So, unfortunately, I do not have them, but I do enjoy them, and some of my friends do. So I get to go over every once in a while and hang out.
It's pretty cool. And you said you're in California, right?
Yes, I live in San Francisco. Well, Daly City. It's like 10, 15 minutes from San Francisco. So, yeah.
Well, if you ever come to New York, or if I'm ever in LA, we should definitely hang out and get lunch or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there anything else you want to ask me, or?
Well,
gloves off. You can ask me anything you like.
Gloves off, huh? So, I think I heard you say that this is episode 500 and something?
556.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of episodes. So, why jump on this type of show and start doing it? It has to be a lot of work for you.
Make a long story short, if you really want to get me nuts, you're supposed to be 856. Long story short, this is how it started, to give you the highlights. When I first started, I was doing phone interviews. So I did 72 phone interviews on people from Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, voiceover actors. and I was still having panic attacks and social anxiety on my.
Oh no!
And I still want to do it. So this is basically therapy for myself because it helps me interact with people, and you're making a new friend out of it. So it's a win-win. But back then, I was like, this is stupid. I don't like talking on the phone. I feel like I'm talking to myself. So I did it over, and this was season 1. You can see it on my, maybe if I find it, there you go. So you can see your reflection. That's what all season 1 was. And people said, and they even said to my brother, oh, we came across your brother's show. Huh. It seems interesting, but why is he hiding in a corner? So because of that comment, I said, fine, I guess, well, it's that comment, and everyone says, if you really want this to be taken seriously, you need to put yourself out there. You can't hide behind a screen, you can't hide behind anything. So season 3, and now it's cut in half. You're on the right, and or I'm on the right, you're on the left. I can flip it. Where it's like, you're on the right, you're on the left. And I'm showing you the video quality from the phone, from recording from the computer screen to what the camera picked up. So I'm showing you all these different variables. To answer your question, I just got tired of using my learning disability as a crutch. And the biggest thing, and so I mentioned this in my book that I'm writing, I was sitting with my family, and like I said, I'm the youngest. My brother before me said, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know what to do. And my dad and mom was like, oh, don't talk to your sister. Go talk to your brother. They know people. They can point you in the right direction. And I said, what about me? 1, you don't shut up. Okay, it's true. I don't shut up. You instigate. You antagonize people. You're not qualified. You don't have any degrees. You can't hold down a job, and you're not qualified to do anything. So I said, you want to keep it PG, or you want me to be completely honest with what I said?
No, be honest.
I said, fuck it. I'm going to show you. Yeah, fine. If that's what you think of me, I'm going to make you eat those words. And that's when I created my talk show in 2013. From the phone and all these different variations. It was originally called Uncensored because I'm a big wrestling fan. And I always like to say, oh, Hershey's and Snickers presents Monday Night Raw, wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm paying for the Keith Andrew Network name. How about the Keith Andrew Network presents Uncensored? And a lot of people got annoyed about the name, but it's the uncensored part. So I took it down. I got 300. People were making idle threats to me. Yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, you ask a lot of stupid questions. We don't like the video quality. I'm getting death threats from being on your show. How the hell that's even possible? I have no idea. I guess someone's smoking too much weed or whatever. I'm not being paranoid. So I said, forget it. I took everything down. From this moment forward, it's called a Keith Andrew Network. You're going to sign the permission form like you did, and you're going to stand by it. Once it's signed, it's a done deal. Do everything professionally. No hidden tricks. No nothing. And thanks to you, we're back up to 556. But there was a point where it's like, okay, I did 300. Do I really want to go through all this again? Or do I want to show people I wasn't a fluke? And I showed them I wasn't a fluke. So I did it over again. So another.
Good.
And like I said, I want to do this to the day I die. I'm very passionate about it. If I wasn't, I would have gave up and found something else.
Yeah, no, of course. Passion is definitely what's going to keep you motivated. It's super interesting that you went through all of those struggles at first. That is very odd that people would get death threats. I don't see why, considering I'm sitting here talking to you right now. I don't think we've talked about anything death threat worthy.
To be honest, I think they're just making up excuses to get the interview taken down. I think that was the only thing.
Yeah, well, that's some people, I guess. But no, so tell me about your family a little bit. You seem to be kind of close to some brothers and sisters and not close to others. How many are you again? 5?
I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1
4.
sister. 2 of them.
Wow, that's a big family.
What about you? Oh, you mentioned you said you had a
I'm
brother
the
and
middle.
sister.
Yeah, there's 3. There's 3. I'm the middle. So older sister, younger brother. But I'm actually super close with my entire family. Family is a very big thing to me. So
No, absolutely. I feel the same way. Unfortunately, part of my disability, I have poor mannerisms. So I kind of rub people the wrong way. Sometimes the right, sometimes not. My eldest brother, 2 of my brothers want nothing to do with me. The other 3, the brother I share a room with on next door, we kind of bang heads, but I do look up to him and everything. I talk to my sister. My other brother has a disability as well. And it's just, I don't know, I do stupid things, sometimes deliberately, sometimes I just do it. If it's normal to me, you're going to think it's weird. But it's kind of like, I'm not going to walk around on eggshells and try to please everyone, if that makes any sense.
yeah, no, totally. I can totally understand that. But I mean, I suppose they are. You are who you are. They are who they are. And I mean, no matter what, they're your siblings. So there's all these kinds of turmoils and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you're still siblings. So that's
yeah, absolutely.
good.
I do have a couple of questions for you off the air. Do you have any more you want to run past?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up our interview segment, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram?
I am on it all. I'm probably on Instagram way more than other social media platforms, but they're all under the H Young, and you can find me there. LinkedIn. Oh shoot, I don't even know my handle for LinkedIn, but I'm on there somewhere. I don't know, Google me or something.
And my last request for you wrapping up our show is when I first approached, you can be completely honest. I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my show, what was your first reaction? And after being on the show, how do you feel now? And would you come back again?
So first, I was like, "Who's this person? What's this show?" I do have to hand it to you for being pretty determined to get me on this show because my schedule is ridiculous. There's a lot of times in which things just do not work out, or I have like so many gigs that pop up or things get lined up that it becomes rather intense. And so even just like the 30 or 45 minutes it's like, oh, I need to go here in 2 seconds, so on and so forth. So you were pretty determined to get me on, so high fives on that. Most people probably would have given up after the first 2 times. I was just like, I'm sorry, I have to reschedule. And then I guess now, I mean, I'm cool. Are you cool? I feel cool about it.
Yeah, hey, exploring good cause, making a new friend out of it. It's a win-win.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. Maybe you have some friends who would like to join you for the next one. Make it more fun. And wrapping up, stay tuned for Off the Air. But I just want to say thank you for being a guest on the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
Of course. Thank you for having me.